Hello, my name is Sergio Del Amo. Welcome to this video where I'm going to talk to you about a new addition in Micronaut Framework 4, which is we have another implementation of the Micronaut HTTP client based on the Java HTTP client, which was introduced in Java 11. Micronaut 4 raises the baseline of Java to Java 17, and thus we were able to adopt the new Java APIs, and including components such as the new Java HTTP client. It is not a replacement of the previous Micronaut HTTP client, but another implementation. You are still able to use the Micronaut HTTP client that we all like and love. That's our HTTP client based on Netty. Let me show you a sample application to discuss what you can do with the Micronaut HTTP client and how can you swap the implementation that you want to use. So I have here a command line application which consumes this API, which is api.chucknorris.io, which basically gives you like random jokes. Let me open the sample application that I have. I have here two applications, a Micronaut 3 application and a Micronaut 4 application. I have the application is really simple. It has one Java record, which essentially maps the JSON response from that API. I have a configuration file where I define I use this identifier from my HTTP client, and I am essentially pointing the API to this URL. Then I have an interface annotated with HTTP with @client. This is the beauty of the Micronaut declarative HTTP clients. You just write an interface, and Micronaut at compilation time it generates an implementation for you. So I have one client. You see the unique identifier for this client matches that I had in configuration. This client essentially has one route. It does a get request to the path jokes/random, and it's doing a blocking fashion. I just wanted to show you in this CLI application, and it's essentially gets the JSON response from the API, and it maps to this Java record that I showed you before. Nothing fancy. Let me show you this is a CLI application, and we use this great library called PicoCli, which has an integration with Micronaut. You can generate CLI applications directly in Micronaut Launch or using our CLI. So I have one command here called joke command, and it uses field injection to inject the Chuck Norris client. This is our HTTP client. It does, when you run this command, it does a request to get a joke, and essentially it prints the joke value. So let me show you this in action. So I'm gonna go here. Let me do a clean first. I'm gonna package the application. I could just execute it from the IDE, but I want to show you the size of the jar file because we have decreased a little bit the jar file, the size of the jar in Micronaut 4, and I think that's also something nice to show you. So I'm gonna output the size of the jar file in the Micronaut 3 application is 13 megs. I'm gonna execute it now. Java -jar build libs. And it outputs a joke as we expected. I have the same application. I didn't show you the dependencies. Let me show you the dependencies. So I have here Micronaut PicoCli dependency, the PicoCli code generation as an annotation processor. We are using Micronaut Jackson data bind. I wanted to show you the same in Micronaut 4 and Micronaut 3, so I use Micronaut Jackson data bind instead of Micronaut serialization, which is what we recommend you to try in Micronaut 4. I have the logback classic dependency for logging, and I have in the main class path the Micronaut HTTP client. This is the Netty one. In Micronaut 3 we didn't have the other one. And in the Micronaut 4 application, I have the same dependencies. Let me use the Netty HTTP client implementation first. I have exactly the same code and the same configuration. Nothing changed here. And I'm gonna generate here. I'm gonna go to the folder where I have the Micronaut 4 application. let me generate the fat jar. I don't know if the size using the regular one is going to be more or less the same as in the Micronaut 3 application, I think. Pretty much the same, right? So in before it was 30 megs as well, if you remember here. So I can run it, and we will, this is the Micronaut 4 application, and we will get like another joke. And there you go, you have the joke here. So Micronaut 4 offers you another implementation of the Micronaut HTTP client, which you can write the same code, but if you want to use the Java HTTP client, introducing Java 11 as the as basically used internally to back this implementation, you can. And we actually shipped another dependency. So instead of using Micronaut HTTP client, this is the netty base, the netty one. You can here use Micronaut HTTP client dash JDK, and you will be using the built-in Java HTTP client. And if I now run the build file again, we'll see that the jar file is actually significantly smaller. It's only 8 megs. So if you need a slimmer HTTP client, maybe the Java HTTP client JDK can work for you. And let me do a request, and we will see like a joke being answered. The Micronaut HTTP client based on netty is more complete and is more heavily tested. Even we have like a HTTP client TCK to test them both. If you want to use the battle-proof HTTP client, we still recommend you to use the netty HTTP client. And in fact, the Micronaut HTTP client based on the Java HTTP client doesn't support the following features, which the netty one does. So proxy request support, client filters, streaming supports, multi-path request, and H2C and HTTP3. All of those features are not supported by the implementation based on the Java HTTP client. If you need any of those features, please use the HTTP client based on netty. And yeah, that's another thing that we have in Micronaut 4. I hope you give it a try. Hope you enjoy this content. Looking forward for the Micronaut 4 release, and thanks for watching. Thank you.